everyone, I'm Cass and this is the Mind Your Being podcast, a space where we'll explore health and what it really means to care for our whole being, our physical, mental and emotional health. Each episode you'll hear from leading health and wellness experts or everyday people who share powerful insights and lived experience. And sometimes it'll be just me, sharing thoughts, tools and reflections from my own journey. More than anything, I want you to feel supported, encouraged and empowered to make informed health choices that feel right for you. If this sounds good to you, please enjoy. My guest today is Emily Gardem, a nutritionist whose practice is called Emily Gardem Nutrition, and her clinic is located in Shellharbour City Centre, New South Wales, Australia. Emily holds a Bachelor of Health Science and Dietetic Medicine. She's a specialist in women's health and weight management. She's a proud mum and a qualified chef, and is also a menstrual health advocate to help reduce stigma and empower young girls and their mums as the girls transition into puberty. Good morning, Emily.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you going?
I'm going really well.
Thank you for coming on today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'd love to start by asking you to tell us a bit about how you came to be interested in nutrition and a bit about your background.
Yeah, absolutely. So I grew up in the Southern Highlands of New South Wales and have always been really drawn to food and natural health. So from a young age, I was watching my mum in the kitchen and learning tips off her on how to cook. And I remember she had like a home remedy book as well. So I was always looking through that as a child and, experimenting with making my own face masks out of oatmeal and honey and all sorts of things like that. So I've always been really connected to that. I remember being maybe 7 years old and garnishing like tin spaghetti, thinking it was like gourmet food. So I've always just really loved food and colour and playing around with it. So from there, I went into high school, and as many of us did, I had a bit of a challenging relationship with my body, and it was a time where it was the 90s, so everyone needed to be a size 8 and blonde, and there was a lot of stigma with how you're supposed to look. And I struggled with that for a while. I saw food as the enemy, and it was something that to be avoided, one way of putting it. After high school, I wanted to get into hotel management. So I had dreams of working in the city and running hotels and going into the hospitality field. And part of doing that was to achieve a diploma. So I went to TAFE, and part of that course was cookery. So I really enjoyed that part of the course, and apparently the teachers saw that as well, because they pulled me aside one day and said off the record that there was an apprenticeship available for a chef and would I be interested, and I decided to give it a go. So that's how I got into cooking in a professional field. I did my apprenticeship, so I worked through different kitchens in the Highlands and finished my trade, and then I managed bistros. I worked in various restaurants and became head chef in several roles. In my last role as a head chef, I was really drawn into nutrition. I saw that food could be delicious, but I also could see that it was a powerful source of nourishment as well and what it could do for the body. So I started my studies as a nutritionist, and I was doing that quite slowly. So doing like one module at a time, because I was working full time, running a kitchen. But it was only when I fell pregnant with my first child that I really decided that, no, this is the path for me. So I finished up my chefing and went into my studies full time, and it's gone on from there.
Wow,
So
I love that.
Me.
It's such a holistic full circle.
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, no, I've always loved natural health, so
yeah, me too. So how long have you worked as a nutritionist in your own practice now?
Yep. So I graduated in 2018, and then I launched my business in 2020, just before COVID. So I'd launched my website, got it all up and running, and then COVID hit and we went into lockdown. So it was really poor timing.
Oh my goodness.
So it's been about 6 or 7 years now, I think, that I've been doing this. So love it.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, I should say that a friend of mine actually recommended me to reach out to you because she came and saw you and she said that you were so lovely, so welcoming, but also so knowledgeable. She'd previously seen dietitians and whatnot.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's lovely.
So I appreciate that. I have a very holistic approach. So I always look for the root cause of health issues. So I don't just see someone say, all right, this is what we're doing for you. I ask so many questions to get to the bottom of what's going on to get you on the course of good health.
Because everybody's different, aren't they?
Everyone is so unique. So
yeah.
there's not one size fits all for them.
I love that. You're actually looking at the actual person instead of just here's a bunch of things, go away and do
Exactly.
that.
I don't say here's some supplements, off you go. Like I look at the individual, what their life is like as well. Like I work with a lot of mothers. So if you're overwhelmed, I'm not going to make you do 1,000 different changes. Let's start off with 2 things and then we'll go from there.
Oh, that's perfect. You mentioned a bit before about food being nourishing.
Yeah.
So we often hear that phrase, food is medicine.
Yeah.
What does that phrase mean to you and what does it mean in practice?
Absolutely. So to me, food is medicine. Every meal is an opportunity to nourish and support yourself and your body. And it's never about being perfect either. It's about choosing foods that fuel you and nourish you and bring you joy as well. They help you feel your absolute best. I often tell my clients to think of their bodies like a car. So are you a Maserati or like a Corvette running on premium fuels, or are you a beat up old Datsun running on service station pies and sausage rolls? And you know, how you feel your body absolutely matters. So if you want to feel good, then you need to be giving yourself really beautiful food. Otherwise, if you keep eating the way that you are, and, you know, treats are okay, but if you're consistently eating poor foods, drinking a lot of soft drink, you're not going to feel well at all. So food influences the whole body, not just one thing. And so when we personalize it, it's one of the powerful things you can do for long-term health. So food truly is your medicine.
What a wonderful answer. And I love that analogy with the fuel in the car.
Yeah.
It's so true.
Yeah, because it's like, well, do I want to be a Maserati and go fast? Or
Do you want that energy or do you want that post-meal slump with the sugar?
Yeah.
So today for the listeners, we've only got a certain amount of time available. So Emily and I have decided that we're going to focus on nutrition, particularly for women in midlife around the times of perimenopause and menopause, given that it's such a significant change in health for women at that time. And often a lot of women are looking for support in changes in their weight management or just changes with their mental health and their mood. So with that in mind, given that menopause and the years around that significant time can be such a huge transition for many women, not only physically but also emotionally, how do the nutritional needs for a woman change around this time in life?
Absolutely. So, you know, many of the clients I see are women that are in their 40s and 50s and beyond, and they'll always, or mostly always say to me, what I was doing in my 20s, it's not working for me now. So I'm trying to eat like I did when I was younger, but it's not having the same effect. I'm still putting on weight, or I can't shift weight. I'm feeling tired. I'm feeling anxious. What is going on? Menopause is such a natural transition in life, and it's something that's definitely not talked about enough. We're getting more recognition now, more discussion, and it's so powerful for women because for a long time it was hidden in the dark. So women were struggling with issues, but they just, you know, they weren't talking to anyone about it. They weren't able to talk to their friends and say, hey, is this normal for me? Am I supposed to be feeling a certain way? So by drawing this out into the community, it's going to have such a big impact and create long-term ripples of change. As hormones like estrogen and progesterone decline, women notice many changes in their body, whether it's to do with their metabolism, their energy, your bone health, your mood, and your body composition. And physically, we need to really support ourselves during this time. So we need more protein to maintain muscle and metabolism. We need to include more nutrients like calcium-rich foods and magnesium and vitamin D to support our nervous system, to support our bone health, to support sleep and well-being as well. We need healthy fats too, again for that brain health and also for hormone production, joint health, and also for satiety, which is really important. We need to ensure more fibre for digestion. This is supporting gut health as well. It supports blood sugar balance. And we need to look at phytoestrogen-rich foods too, such as flax seeds and soy and legumes to support those hormone shifts. Emotionally, there's a lot of mood swings, so you might be feeling more irritable, more emotional. So we need to ensure that we're having really balanced blood sugar to prevent these dips happening as strongly. Because when we're not eating regularly, or if we're surviving on coffee or sugar or chocolate, or eating really non-nutrient dense foods, you're going to have those peaks and crashes really quite intensely. So again, ensuring a whole balanced diet and staying hydrated can make a really big difference to how we're feeling.
Yeah, that's true with the hydration. Sometimes people think they're hungry, but
Absolutely.
I've heard people say you should always try drinking half a glass of fluid first.
Or fatigue or like irritability as well. Always drink some water first. As an example, the other day I had a really bad headache. It was lingering for around a day and a half, 2 days. I'm like, why won't this headache go away? I woke up on the third day and I'm like, okay, what is going on? Like, I've got this headache. It's not shifting. I've taken Panadol. I've done magnesium. What's going on? So I drank a lot of water that day. I just kept drinking, and the headache went. So obviously, being colder weather, I hadn't drunk enough water to support myself, and that's why I was feeling headachy, and I felt so much better for it. So always drink more water.
You're right, especially at this time of year in winter, with the heat going.
Because you don't think of fluid, you just think I'm cold. Rugging up, eating more food, and you turn to those comfort foods, but water gets to the bottom of the list. So fluid can come from herbal teas, it can come from broths and soups as well. So it's not just tap water.
So you mentioned quite a range of foods and nutrients there. Are there any specific foods that can help ease some of the common menopausal symptoms, such as hot flashes or the low energy or trouble sleeping?
Absolutely. So we always start off with the diet. So I tend to recommend like a Mediterranean style diet because it's really nicely balanced with lots of colourful vegetables and healthy fats. You've got the legumes in there and your whole grains and your herbs too. So don't ever forget your herbs in your diet because they have a lot of benefit too. And it's really simple and easy to maintain with that. Again, looking at if you've got hot flashes, looking at like flax seeds and sage. So making a sage tea, adding your fennel in as well. That's going to really help bring those down a little bit for you because you want to cool that body. And again, supporting your liver health too. So looking at cruciferous vegetables such as broccoli, kale and cabbage. That's going to help with estrogen metabolism as well.
Thank you. There's some great suggestions there.
You're welcome.
So many women notice changes in body composition. I think we mentioned this before. Especially that increase in fat around the lower waist area. I think it happens to everyone, to be honest, at this time in life. What's the most effective way you found to support our metabolism at this time?
Okay, so there's not just one answer for that.
Okay.
So when we're looking at supporting our metabolism, we need to look at a bunch of parameters there. So we're looking at your gut health. We're looking at your hormonal balance as well, what's happening there. We need to consider thyroid function and insulin resistance. So if there's thyroid dysfunction, that's going to be impacting your metabolism. It's slowing everything down. Thyroid issues such as hypothyroidism and Hashimoto's disease is very common in perimenopause and menopause as well. So I always look at that thyroid function. We're looking at the mitochondria. So they're like the powerhouses of our cells and what they're doing and if they're running optimally. Stress and sleep quality as well. You'll find, you may not have children, but you may be mothering in other ways in your life. So you may be running a business or looking after community or parents. So you're still doing other roles similar to motherhood without children. And then many mothers come through entering perimenopause that have young families. They're caring for parents as well because parents are starting to age. They may be working full time, running businesses, life in general. So stress is really high at this point in life. So we need to look at what those stress levels are looking like for you and what sleep's doing too, because if you're not sleeping well, it's going to be harder to release that weight. So we need to look at supporting that. And again, we look at nutrition and movement too. So we're looking at a person's diet, how they're eating, the types of foods that they're eating, if they're getting sugar cravings too, and how much movement. A lot of people aren't moving enough, and it's not by their fault at all. They may be just sitting in jobs where they're in front of the computer all day and they're not really getting up and stretching their bodies. They might not be getting outside during their lunch breaks, and people are just busier. So looking at what sort of exercise they're doing. And from there, then I really focus on diet. So I look at ensuring that they're eating enough protein with each meal, getting enough vegetables in their diet, looking at bringing in some resistance training as well, because we need muscle to help burn fat, and looking at reducing the ultra processed foods in their diets too. So if there's a lot of biscuits and cakes and Arnott's Bickies and, refined cereals, looking at reducing those down and replacing them with better options to help with that weight. In my clinic, I use Metabolic Balance, which is personalised nutrition, and it's really effective for women in this age bracket because it's based on their biochemistry. So we're looking at the individual's blood results and tailoring nutrition specific to them based on that. So foods are targeted based on those results. So it's a really great approach to have.
That sounds like a wonderful approach.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you about whether you do any blood tests so that it is specific to the needs of the individual who comes in to see you.
Yeah.
Rather than just a one-size-fits-all, which
exactly. It
never
doesn't
works.
work.
Yeah.
So I always look at pathology and review those with my clients. And then if they want to do metabolic balance, we do a full panel of bloods. From that, we generate a nutrition plan. So it's all food-based. So there's just foods chosen for them based on that biochemistry. And it's a really beautiful way of improving your whole well-being. So
sounds wonderful.
Yeah, I love it. It's been getting great results.
Yeah, I think that is awesome.
Yeah.
Like it's so tailored to the person and you're seeing the results.
Yeah, there's no shakes or anything. It's basically like, all right, well, here's your list of foods. You can choose what you want from your food list and make the foods that you want to eat.
Yep.
And it's not just weight release. It's energy, it's sleep, it's hormonal balance, it's digestive health.
It's all the things. It's not just about weight. It's actually how you feel because there's a lot of fatigue that comes in this time of life.
And the brain fog as well.
Yeah.
Like that can be really debilitating when you have brain fog and the clarity is not there and you're forgetting things and you feel a bit like Dory. What am I doing again?
Yes.
So that's really hard in itself. So it really simplifies the food side down and makes life a lot easier.
When you're treating women with that program, what kind of time frame before they're sort of reporting, hey, I'm feeling a bit better?
Some people it can be within a week.
Okay.
Sometimes it's a little bit longer. Again, it depends on the issues that person is experiencing. Sure. If there's a lot of inflammation or there's a few layers to it, but results can be quite quick when it comes to energy or reduction in pain. I've got one lady who is currently doing the program and she's had debilitating knee pain for years. It's been really disruptive to her life, and just a few weeks doing this program, that pain in her knee had significantly reduced.
Wow.
She was able to sleep better. She was able to get back in the gym and do some movement, and it wasn't causing her so much distress. So that in itself is a huge change, because when you're feeling less stressed, your body's going to be calmer and you're going to be feeling so much better.
Everything feels better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you think that would be a lot to do with anti-inflammatory foods?
Absolutely, because you have removed the bad stuff from your diet. You're just eating fresh fruits and vegetables, beautiful cuts of meat. We've got oily fish in there, eggs, nuts and seeds. So it's basically all that goodness that you're flooding your body with.
Yep.
And from that, because you have more energy, you can move more, which is going to boost your mood as well and improve your mental clarity, and it's reducing the pain. So yeah, it's beautiful.
It really does sound wonderful. It's a good approach, like a holistic approach.
Absolutely, yeah.
So you've touched on protein earlier. What role does protein play for women in their 40s and beyond, and why is it so important?
Absolutely. So from around the age of 40, we start to lose muscle mass, and it's a process called sarcopenia. So we need protein. It's essential for maintaining strength, energy, metabolism, and hormonal stability as well. So most people don't eat enough protein in their diet. They think just having a steak at the end of the day is enough, and it most definitely isn't. So we need enough protein to promote satiety as well. It's roughly around 80 to 100 grams a day that we're looking at, spread across all your meals. So another way I describe that to my clients is looking at your palm and aiming for around a palm size of protein with each meal. So that could be 2 eggs with breakfast, a nice piece of chicken with lunch, and some steak for dinner. But we want that spread out throughout the day. If you're not having enough protein, you're going to start getting hungry, you're going to start getting cravings mid-morning, and that's where that snacking comes into play as well. So we really do need to increase that.
Actually, my dad just rang me last night and he said, a few months ago you were telling me about this protein drink and I'm going to go to Chemist Warehouse. And I'm like, yes, because as you get older, your requirements increase. We don't synthesize it as well.
Yeah. We definitely need it as we get older. And we need it for strength because you want to age well. So you want to get into your 80s feeling strong. You've got that strength there because if we don't, you're more prone to falls. You're more prone to breakages, and we don't want that. We need it for wound healing as well. So it's very crucial.
So important. Yeah. And you mentioned satiety. You will definitely notice it. If you're not eating protein early in the day, a sufficient amount, you'll be hungry mid-morning, even if you've had a big breakfast without protein.
Absolutely. You could eat 4 pieces of toast with a bit of avocado and it's still not going to keep you going through the morning. So I always think, where's my protein? Like even when I'm in a hurry, I might just grab some oats, I'll add some nut butter to that. I might add a little bit of yogurt to it. So at least it's giving me something, because if I just went for a bowl of cornflakes, it wouldn't do its job.
You mentioned hydration and fibre earlier as well.
Yeah.
Can you talk a bit more about how these are important and how much should people be aiming to consume each day?
We need enough fluid in our diet to keep our bodies well lubricated and running well. We need it for digestion, we need it for liver function, we need it for temperature regulation and joint health as well. We need ideally around 35 mils per kilo of body weight per day as a general guide for fluid. If you're training or exercising quite intensely, then that amount's going to increase. And in summer as well, if you're doing a lot of activity outside, you may need to increase your fluid intake as well. It improves brain clarity and energy also.
So that's the hydration.
Yes. And then fibre. So we 100% need enough fibre in our diet. It promotes bowel regularity. It reduces inflammation. It supports healthy hormone metabolism. And it's absolutely crucial for women in perimenopause. It's crucial for everyone, but especially during perimenopause. Helps to lower cholesterol and it supports digestive health as well. We need a really healthy microbiome. And when that's out of whack, then we're not going to be feeling well. We're going to be feeling bloated. We're going to be tending to constipation a little bit more. And we're not excreting all those toxins from our body. So we 100% need more fibre in our diet.
Do you know what's the recommended? I mean, I know everyone will be a little bit different depending on if they have some irritable bowel and stuff like that. But what's a general recommended
As a general guide, I aim for around 2 to 3 cups of vegetables with each meal.
I think you mentioned before, women in midlife, so busy. You might be a mum, you could be running a business, working a job, caring for parents. It's just a really busy time of life and quite stressful at times. Yeah. So we're generally pretty time poor. What are some simple, realistic changes we can make to eat better without feeling overwhelmed?
Absolutely. So I say to everyone, just keep it as simple as possible. So for meals, it might just be some protein with some salad or steamed greens. So just keep it really, really simple. But do meal prepping as well. So if you're able to, on a Sunday or another day that works for you, spend 1 to 2 hours prepping ahead for a few days in the week. So it might be getting your breakfast ready to go. You might make up some birch and muesli for 3 days ahead, cutting up some vegetables such as carrots or capsicum or celery and having those to snack on during the day and trying to prepare at least 2 meals. So it might be a bulk prep in the slow cooker, which is really, really perfect. You could do bologneses, cooking your rices and pastas as well. Always just keep it simple. So I think if you can prep up until Wednesday, your life's going to be so much easier. So by the time you get to Thursday, you can just have some chicken with veg and so on. And have 2 to 3 reliable meals that you can bulk prep and freeze as well. So it might be a nice Moroccan chicken stew, and you can have that with some quinoa and have that portion as well in the freezer. So when you come home from work, you can just grab it out and it's ready to go. And it's going to stop you from going and getting takeaway and making those poorer choices.
Yeah, that's great suggestions, especially the freezing. You can just defrost it on the day or...
Yeah. I mean, I know it can feel time consuming to meal prep, but honestly, it makes life so much easier. So if you just think of doing your brekkie prep and having some salads cut up and even pre-cooking some chicken and freezing that so you can pull that to add to your salads as well, it just makes life easier and your body's going to feel so much better for it.
So there's a lot of buzz around intermittent fasting for weight loss. What are your thoughts on fasting for women in midlife?
It can work for some, but it's not for everyone. For women in midlife perimenopause, it can add more stress to the body. So skipping meals is not ideal. If you can just do, your 3 meals a day and your gentle fasting overnight, then that's going to work better for you. It can cause more stress on the body and contribute to fatigue and mood swings and hot flashes as well. So it's not for everyone. And again, I base it on the individual as well.
Yeah, I know I tried it maybe for a 6-month period, just pushing out my breakfast a bit later. But what I found initially, I thought, oh, this is good. But what I found is over that 6-month period, I actually lost quite a bit of muscle and I felt quite like my body was a bit more jelly-like instead of having that muscle tone. Yeah, and which I've since found out can happen for a lot of people. So yeah, as you said, it's not for everyone.
People think, oh, I'm losing weight, but you're losing that muscle, which is not ideal because we need that muscle.
Yeah.
And for me personally, I don't do well skipping meals at all.
Yep.
I just don't function. So again, I really work with that individual and what their body is like, what their life is like to determine whether it's right for them.
So you mentioned quite a few nutrient-dense foods before. Are there any particular nutrients you advise women in midlife to focus on including in their diet?
Yeah, so as far as supplementation goes, I always say test, don't guess. So don't just go and grab anything off the shelf from the supermarket or the chemist because it may not be right for you and it could be dangerous. So always get some bloods done first. And again, I can review that pathology as well because I look at optimal levels for my clients. So you may be within range, but it may not be the right range for you. So if a woman's presenting with fatigue and her iron levels or ferritin stores are just above 30, it's not ideal for her. So we work on increasing those levels. So always test, don't guess. That's always my number one advice.
Fantastic.
But for key nutrients, we look for magnesium-rich foods. So I love magnesium. It's really great for the nervous system. It's great for stress. It's great for helping you sleep. It's fantastic for mood. It improves insulin sensitivity as well and stabilizes your blood sugar, reduces inflammation too. So look for your magnesium-rich foods, which you can find through almonds and broccoli and leafy greens and tahini. There's great sources in there. B vitamins as well. So again, looking at your B vitamin rich foods, we need that for energy and hormone metabolism as well. It helps to reduce your cardiovascular disease risk and it's protective against developing insulin resistance, hypertension, obesity as well. We need vitamin D and calcium for bone health. So getting plenty of sunlight and looking at your calcium rich foods as well. Again, we've got tahini, which is a great source of calcium. You can find it in broccoli and almonds and like canned fish. If you have salmon, crush the bones up because that's a great source of calcium too. Of course, your dairy products as well. We want to include omega-3, so plenty of oily fish. We need that for brain and heart health and it helps to reduce inflammation as well. So that's super important. And again, protein and fibre. Every day with every meal, it's really, really important to include that in your diet for satiety, for bowel regularity and energy and reducing inflammation. And inositol is another good one to look for, which is really important. It prevents and treats fatty liver. It supports thyroid function and it's really great for mood support too. So considering that as well.
Is that good for sleep too, inositol?
Yeah, so it can be helpful for sleep, but it's good for lifting that mood. So if you're feeling
Okay.
quite low and with anxiety and depression, it's really good for that. So
I think I might give that a go
Yeah.
for the anxiety.
yeah,
That's awesome. That's so comprehensive
Yeah.
and so balanced. You're covering all the
Yeah.
key nutrients there.
So again, like the foundation is diet. So if your diet's nicely balanced, and then we look at, do you need supplementation, and we go from there. If you're not sleeping well, then I might say, well, let's look at bringing some magnesium into your diet through a practitioner grade supplement, or you're still feeling a bit low with your energy, well, let's add in a B complex. So we might look at your iron levels or what else we can do to support that. So
I really love how you're looking at the optimal levels for the person,
Yeah.
not just, oh, you're in range. Because I know I've always suffered with really low ferritin iron stores.
Yeah.
And when you end up getting it up to in range, it might be just above 30, which is really low. It's quite a big range.
Yeah.
And the doctors will say, no, you're fine. And I'm like, but I don't
not.
feel fine. I want to be
absolutely.
thriving, not
Yeah.
just,
I remember after I had my last child, and I was so fatigued. I'd lost blood during labour as well, and I was told everything's fine, your levels are fine, and it was like 31, and I was just so
one above
fatigued.
the baseline.
I just didn't feel good. So I supplemented with some iron, and it just changed everything. I felt really good. So again, it's just, you've got to look at that individual profile and what's been happening for them and what they need the support with the most.
Yeah, that's a great approach.
Yeah.
So we talked a bit before about that change in body composition that comes around perimenopause and definitely with menopause.
Yeah.
And it can be really disheartening when you haven't made any changes to your diet, but you're seeing maybe that weight increase or that fatigue stick around. So with nutrition, there seems to be a new and improved, I don't even like the word, but diet every week. Some say a keto diet works best. Some advocate for a vegetarian or Mediterranean. How do you help women work out what's best for them?
Yeah, it's so overwhelming. There is so much on the internet about the latest diet. You go on Instagram or, so-and-so is doing this, it's worked really well for them. There's, shakes, there's pills, there's this, there's that, and it's incredibly overwhelming. And I've had clients ask about diets I hadn't even heard of. So I've got to research that myself. Like, I haven't heard of that. I'll check it out for you. But I always bring it back to that individual. So I don't generally recommend one thing. Like metabolic balance might not be right for everyone. It's about what's going to work for that person. So it's always about just being personalized for them. So that's my approach, and just listening to your own body. So if you're fasting and you're feeling really anxious and stressed, that's not working for you. If you're eating like a ketogenic diet and you're feeling fatigued or you're feeling dizzy, then that's not working for you. Let's pull that back. It's really just chatting to them and working out the right pathway.
Yeah, as we said before, it's just everyone is so individual. So what's working for your friend may not work for you.
Yeah.
And listening to your body.
Yeah. Yeah. And, some people are incredibly busy and overwhelmed. So it might be that they need to have a shake for breakfast and then a simple lunch and dinner. Like, it might be too much for them to cook 3 meals a day. So that's where I really just talk to that person and say, all right, well, where are you at in your life? What can we do to help get you feeling better? And we can tailor it along the way. So it's not always a long-term thing on one particular path, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's so helpful to that person. You're meeting them where they're at.
Yeah.
So with this podcast, I'm also trying to encourage women especially in midlife, to forget skinny. We need to focus on strong strength, being fit. We don't want to end up as frail old ladies if we can help it.
Yeah.
And so you talked before about how having muscle, strong muscle and more muscle as we age is so important. Do you have any particular message around that for women?
F being skinny.
Yeah.
Because it's not the solution. It's about how you feel. So you may see someone and go, oh, she looks amazing. She's so skinny and thin, but she could be incredibly anxious, not sleeping well and hungry all the time. So it's about being strong. So when I have someone come to my clinic and say, I need to release weight, I'm not feeling good, instead of saying, well, what is your goal number on the scale, where did you feel your best at? Did you feel really strong at a size 16? Where do you feel your best at? So it's really about focusing on your energy levels, how you're sleeping, how your nervous system is feeling, and how your mood is. Because if those things are all balanced, that is more important than being a certain number on the scale. So it's about being
100%.
strong. And I say that to my daughters as well.
Oh, beautiful.
You know, it's better to be strong and healthy than to be thin and, you know, not feeling great. So
I feel like I'm seeing more people talk about it.
yeah.
So I'm hoping there will be more of a cultural shift towards. I'm seeing it. Even I've just started in the last probably 8 months going back to a gym to try and get some more variety to build that muscle. And I've noticed even the young girls that are in the gym, they look amazing.
Yeah.
But because they're strong. But yeah, they're working on their strength and they look really strong. And
it's powerful to be strong.
Yeah.
It's so powerful to be strong, and it has so many benefits. So if you've got that good muscle mass in your youth, that's going to help you as you age too. So if you start trying to grow muscle in your 40s, it's going to be a lot harder than it is in your 20s. So if you start doing that from a young age and you're maintaining that, it's going to prolong your life and make life aging so much better for you, that process.
Try and promote that good quality of function and that independence for a lot longer.
And it is shifting that narrative as well. Like as I touched on before, when I was a teenager, it was about being blonde and a size 8 with big boobs and being this ideal of perfection. And it's so unrealistic. And then you go back to the generation before and it was all about calorie counting and fearing fat and eating just watermelon
That
and just
low-fat
grapefruit
diet.
and low fat. And we know now that that's so detrimental to health. And then you look at your grandmothers and it was all about you need to be thin and skinny and restricting food. And it's such a toxic culture that has been ingrained in us as women for so long, and that needs to change. And now we're starting to see that with the younger girls focusing on their strength and moving it forward that way. So it's just keeping up that discussion.
And I think this is really helpful and we're seeing that change. So it's great. The information you've shared with us today has been so helpful, and I think the listeners at home are going to find it really beneficial. I love that you take such an individualized approach with everyone. I think that's great. Is there anything else you'd like to say or share with our audience that we haven't covered today?
Yep. So, I mean, it's such a broad topic. We could talk about this for hours, but I guess the key takeaway is that just because you're aging, it doesn't mean that you have to age poorly. It doesn't mean that you're going to gain weight that's going to stick on you. You're not going to be tired and irritable for the rest of your life. That this can change. You just need the right support and to keep reaching out for it. So if you're being told that it's normal and everything's fine, but you're not feeling that way, continue to reach out for support until you get taken in the right direction, so to speak. So if anyone has any questions, they feel free to reach out to me as well.
And we will link to your social media connections and your where you're located so people can find you. I don't like that, I guess, that narrative for women. Oh, you're in midlife, you should be tired, you're getting older.
It's normal.
Of course you're going to have increased fatigue as you age, but as you said, there's no reason we need to think about it negatively. There's no reason we don't need to think that we should still be thriving in midlife and beyond. It's making some key changes, like you said, to support our nutrition with nutrient-dense foods and the right foods, and you know, we can feel better as we age.
Absolutely. And looking at this change is not being over the hill. You're simply on top of the hill looking down on everyone, and you've got the map and they haven't got there yet. So really it's such a powerful stage of life to be in, and you're coming into your own power as well, and it's just supporting yourself so you can feel well. So you don't have to feel tired, you don't have to feel sluggish, you can feel amazing. It's just about supporting yourself with the right nutrition, the right nutrients and the right lifestyle changes.
And as you said, if people are struggling to find the right support, we'll link to further details on how to find you, a qualified nutritionist and chef, so that you can get the right support. I love what you were saying there, and on one of your blogs on your website, You wrote that perimenopause and menopause is a season of deep nourishment, clarity, and renewal. I think that's beautiful.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And it's an empowering stage to be in. So we've shed all the things that we were worried about when we were younger. So often all those worries and a lot of those fears have gone, but now we're coming into our own power. So embracing it.
100%.
Yeah.
That's so lovely.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, as this podcast is called Mind Your Being, I wanted to ask if you could share with us 3 things that you do personally.
Yeah.
It could be a practice or a ritual, a particular food to mind your being.
Yeah. So again, I'm a work in progress too. I'm human. So I get out for morning sunlight every day. So I'll walk my girls to school. I find that's really good for my mental health, just that fresh air and sunlight. I'm practicing yoga as much as I can because, again, that's really great for my nervous system and calming me down and getting out of my head and being more present and really focusing on just those nourishing foods. So being winter, I'm eating a lot more slow cooked foods, soups, things like that to really nourish myself. And just checking in too. So if I find myself getting overwhelmed or irritable or frustrated, especially at home, it can be intense at times with the little ones, just stepping back and thinking, what do I need? Have I not drunk enough water today? Do I need to have a cup of tea? Do I need to go sit in my room for a few minutes and just close my eyes with a bit of breath work? And my other one is just going to water. So going to the ocean if I'm feeling a bit out of sync, or having a nice hot bath with some Epsom salts and a bit of a skincare routine. So that's minding my being. They're little things that I can do that is suited to my life where I'm at right now. Little kids, I'm a busy mum, and as they grow older, I'll be able to branch out into more.
They're beautiful things.
Yeah.
I share with you the ocean, definitely.
Yeah.
I find it so uplifting but calming at the same time.
So grounding, and it's like the ultimate reset. So you can go to the beach and you'll be in a tiz, and you can walk away feeling like a new person. So always go to the ocean.
They're great tips.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And as you mentioned there at your yoga practice, I should mention that you hold a number of events from time to time, and I was lucky enough to attend one of them. It was a combined yoga nutrition workshop.
Yeah.
Did you want to say a bit more about the kind of events that you hold?
Yeah. So I really love doing the workshops, and I do a few different types. So I do cooking workshops. So I've hosted a few at the local library where people can come into the kitchen with me and I teach you how to cook a dish. I've done a vegetarian dish. I've done a really beautiful chicken dish as well. And it's a nice small intimate group where you can ask me questions and I give you some chef insights as well. So that's a lot of fun. I do women's workshops too. So I can do them on a range of topics. So like nutrition. The one that you attended was for women in perimenopause, menopause. So that was called Autumn Awakening. And that's just a really beautiful way for women to come together and sit in circle and share stories. And I give you some insights about the transition and covering topics like we've spoken about today in more depth. We do some beautiful yoga and eat some really nice brownies.
Definitely.
And it's just a really nice way of getting women together, because I think that, you know, the village is really fractured and we need that village around us, and to come together and just know that you're heard and you're seen. It's just so powerful. And I also run workshops for girls as well. So I run empowered puberty workshops for different age brackets. So I'm going to be hosting one soon for 4 to 7-year-olds. I do 8 to 12 and 12 to 16-year-old girls. And these are mother-daughter workshops. And this is again about empowering mums and daughters as their daughters are entering puberty. We sit in circle as well and share stories, and I talk about menstrual health and menstrual health products and how to care for the body. It includes mums and daughters yoga as well, and yeah, it's another really beautiful thing. So yeah, love it.
You've got such a variety there covering all ages.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely interested in coming to your next cooking workshop. I think that'd be wonderful.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of fun. So by all means.
Well, I'm not the best cook, so I'll be picking your brain for the tips.
Yeah, definitely. And like, I don't expect anyone to be a great cook. It's like, just come and be with me and I'm going to teach you how to cook something, show you how to crack an egg, how to make a dish, all sorts of stuff. So
yeah,
it's really organic the way it flows. There's no real structure. It's just, let's just go with that. So,
and I guess they'll be advertised on your website?
Yeah. And my socials as well. I've also got a mailing list that I've got updates on there as well.
Okay, so if people listening are interested in reaching out to you, where can they find you and contact you?
Yeah. So you can find me on my website. So that's www.emilygardemnutrition.com.au. I'm on Instagram, so just emily.gardem.nutrition, and Facebook, Emily Gardem Nutritionist. So just follow me there and I share all sorts of wonderful things.
It is a beautiful website and you have really great blogs as well.
Thank you.
Aesthetically, your website is gorgeous.
Thank you.
I wanted to thank you again for coming on today.
Thank you for having me.
For such a lovely, informative conversation.
Yeah.
And I'll just mention again that you're located in Shellharbour City Centre in New South Wales, Australia. Okay, so for anyone who's not local to the Shellharbour area, do you offer any online consultations?
Absolutely. So I offer Zoom consultations as well. So if you're not local, that's fine. We can just do it via Zoom. So
perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you again, Emily. It's been great.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I've enjoyed it.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Mind Your Being podcast. If you enjoyed it or found it helpful, please follow the show wherever you get your podcasts and share it with a friend who might enjoy it too. If you have a moment, please leave a quick review. It really helps others discover the podcast. Thanks again for being here. Take care, and until next time, mind your being.